Hello, everyone, and welcome. Thank you for joining us for today's webinar, Dynamics Duo, Bridging Sales and Marketing for Elevated Success. We're excited to have you with us. Before we dive into the presentation, I'd like to quickly cover a few housekeeping details. First, you may have noticed that you're currently on mute, but don't worry, you can still interact with us by submitting any questions using the question box located on the GoToWebinar panel. If you run into any technical issues during the session, feel free to use that same question box, and we'll assist you as soon as possible. All right, let's get started. I'm excited to introduce you, Sabrina, Zamara, and Britt Pangerl, who'll be leading today's session. Thanks for joining us, Sabrina and Britt. I'm going to let you take it away from here.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for the intro, Lily. Hey, Britt, how are you doing today?
I mean, it's a little chilly, but I'm pretty good. How about you?
Same. I'm just glad that everyone decided to spend a little time with us today. I see a lot of people on the call, and I'm just excited to learn about how sales and marketing can work together.
Well, I know that I'm about to learn a few things from you, Sabrina, and I probably have some juicy nuggets to share with you on the sales side too. So let's get this thing rolling.
Yeah.
Here's our agenda. We're going to go over some introductions really quick, and then I will turn it over to the marketing guru herself, Sabrina, to talk through marketing strategy. We'll discuss content, segmentation, journeys, lead management, visibility, client success. One of my favorites, a little nugget about licensing, and links to more. But the focus on this session is if you're already leveraging dynamics in some way or form in your environment, why not use customer insights journeys and expand on your sales efforts with dynamic sales? All right.
Perfect.
So this is us. I'm Britt Pangerl. I am based in the Twin Cities. I live just west of the Twin Cities, actually in Maple Grove. I'm an account executive here on the enterprise sales team at Velazio. I'm also really proud to be one of the Twin Cities Dynamic Meetup co-chairs. So if you're local to the area and you're looking to get connected to other geeks like me, you're more than welcome. I love all things CRM and Dynamics. I've been working with the product since version 2011 on-prem. I've only been on the dark side of the partner channel for the last almost 6 years. And prior to that, I was in distribution as an end user. So I consider myself functionally dangerous, but just a fangirl of the product. And I have 3 children, 5 and under. So I'm not afraid of a good challenge. I'm definitely a Disney adult, and Sabrina and I are both big Vikings fans and not looking forward, Sabrina, to yet another really boring Super Bowl.
You know, let me tell you, even though the Vikings aren't playing, it was one of the greatest seasons we ever had. So I'm just going to put that out there. It was super fun to watch. And I don't know, the Kansas City is really building a dynasty. That's for sure.
Yeah, my son just calls it Taylor Swift's boyfriend's team. So I'm doing something right.
He's not wrong. He's not wrong. Thanks, Britt. My name is Sabrina. I live in Minnesota, but just outside of Fargo, North Dakota. A little chilly this time of the year, but we love it. Instead of doing our lake fishing in a boat, we're on water doing some ice fishing, and I am totally okay with that. I am on the marketing team here at Velazio. Love everything Microsoft Channel and business technology. I'm really, really passionate about making sure that companies are able to achieve their goals. And what that means to me, more importantly, is how do your employees save time and become more efficient and get better at their jobs with the technology that they have in place? And I know that Microsoft provides that to companies around the globe, and I'm really happy to be a part of that. All right, should we jump in?
Let's do it.
All right, let's talk about crafting your marketing strategy. So, Britt is going to talk about, the tool a lot and what sales does and some of the features and functionality of the tool. But you don't just buy a tool. You don't set out to say, okay, I'm just going to, buy a bunch of things unless you know exactly how you're going to need them and what you need to, what challenge you want to solve. So it really starts with building your marketing strategy and understanding what are you trying to achieve at the end of the day. What is your goal? Are you trying to track attribution by channel? Are you trying to make sure you're able to segment your audience to get the right message to the right audience at the right time? And what makes you different about what you're bringing to the market versus your competitor? Some of these are questions that really should make up your foundational documentation and foundational artifacts of when you're building your marketing strategy, because without answering these questions, it's hard to forge the path forward and know where to go. Another key part of your marketing strategy should really be understanding who are your buyers. And in a lot of times, especially for businesses like ours that are, consultants, we work with a variety of different buyers in a committee, because the choices that you make for your technology don't just impact one department, they can impact multiple departments. And that's what we're going to talk about a lot today, is how using Dynamics 365 can impact everything from marketing, where it all kind of begins, right? Where you're getting your message out there, in sales, where I'm passing off opportunities to Britt, into your delivery teams or your operational components, into your resources, into your manufacturing facilities, whatever kind of business that you have. And it's also important, once you know who your buyers are and those decision makers, what is their journey and what compels them to be interested in your product and services, and how are they consuming content? I know, somebody like me, I'm not going to lie, I love watching TikTok. I love, finding out what's going on in the world and getting little snippets of news, but I don't consume content the same way that someone, 20 or 30 years older than me would consume content. And we're at a really, really interesting time where there can be 4 to 5 generations in the workforce in the same department. So diversifying your content to make sure that you're reaching the people that you want to reach is definitely key and critical.
I love this. I totally agree, because a lot of people will come to me and say, well, my sales team just needs X to level up their lead nurturing or their business development. My sales team needs a tool to do this. And to your point, it isn't really about the tool so much as it is what's your business outcome? What are you looking to achieve? And then I like to, it's cliche, but start with the end in mind. So I think it works, to your point, Sabrina, not just for marketing, but also for sales. So good lead in.
Yeah, 100%. Get out your screenshot here. I'd love for you guys all to save this and start working on building out buyer persona PowerPoint decks. If you don't already have something like this, this is an exceptional way to get your sales and your marketing teams in alignment with who is your audience and who are you going after and what do they care about, right? So this is an example of a chief sales officer. So it gives me what their role is, their demographics, how they typically buy, trigger events or different challenges that they face. So building out this information related to all of your key buyers is just a way to really start putting together that marketing strategy. And like I mentioned, getting your sales team and your marketing team on the same page with who are you targeting. Here's another example. This one came from Microsoft. This is a competitive assessment between QuickBooks and Business Central. And it really outlines, why are your customers buying from you? Why would they choose your product or services? And how do you win against that direct competitor? And I think that building out these kind of battle cards related to, who your competitors are, if you're going up against services, your product versus another product, and understanding really where you stand out from the crowd.
And to your point, Sabrina, this is more of an internal tool, right? Like just to make sure that your team's thinking about what the competitive landscape looks like. And then also, keeping that in mind as you're designing your marketing content and as you're, targeting your audience, right?
100%.
Not like to be used externally. Okay. Yeah.
100%. And this is another one of those tools that keeps marketing and sales on the same page, right? So we're messaging and marketing why we are better than the competitor, or why people should choose us. And then that talk track carries over to sales, when you're having those conversations with prospects as well.
Ideally.
Yeah.
They're trained in like you trained me in. Absolutely.
So the next thing I just want to touch on here is not every buyer that you engage with is in the same area of their buying journey. So we need to develop content for every different area of the buying journey. Maybe they're not even sure that they have a problem yet, right? Like how do we, what questions are they going to start asking to understand maybe they do have a challenge? Or maybe they understand what their challenge is, but now they want to learn about it. They want to determine, okay, this is my problem. These are all the different solutions out there for me. These are all the different companies that I can work with. And they want to get all of their questions answered up front. The majority now of people, and I do this, I'm sure Britt, you probably do as well. I do all the research before reaching out to anybody. I'm going to find all the information I can on the internet. I'm going to talk to my friends, and then I'm going to pick up the phone and call and be like, okay, I think I'm ready to have a conversation about buying this, whatever it may be. So we want to make sure we get all the information, all the questions answered up front before we even have that one-on-one conversation. So just, as you're planning out your marketing and as you're planning out your strategy, just keep in mind that that good content mix all the way from awareness down to the purchase is critical to capture those buyers.
Absolutely.
The next, take a screenshot of this too. If you don't have this built out, this is a great example of a buyer's journey map. So understanding who in your buying committee is involved in what stage of the journey will help you tailor your content to specifically what you need. And this journeys map is going to be a little different depending on your industry and the complexity of your business. You might sell a product or a service that you only sell into, one job role or one department that uses that. But really, honestly, most of the time there's multiple people involved in any key decision. So this will help you map that out. We did this exercise with the sales team, I don't know, maybe a year ago, I think it was, Britt, and it really helped us all to understand, what is the consistency of the different groupings of folks that we engage with in different types or stages of the buyer's journey. I thought it was extremely helpful.
Yeah, I agree. And I like to, what you said at the beginning is figuring out what are those different journeys based on your market segment as well, because they're going to be different. And the players that are part of that journey are all going to change too. And even just the act of, I know none of us need one more meeting in our day, but just the act of kind of sitting down and talking about this together as a team really helped me, just getting together and thinking, okay, actually, this is who I'm usually talking to, and this is the process that they enter, and putting it down on paper and then having all of us agree. So I do like that as an exercise to do as a group.
Yeah, 100%. I think that's really a lot of the things that we do in marketing and in sales. Like, no one is on an island, right? Like, I want full collaboration of the team. At Velocio, we have the sales, we have delivery, and we have marketing. And there's really those are the three legs of the stool. And without one, the stool is going to fall over. So collaboration is truly key.
Always.
So you're doing all this planning, you understand your audience, you understand their journey and how they buy. Next, it's really executing your marketing plan. And that comes down to planning out that content and developing, how are you going to hit them in top, middle, and bring them down to the bottom of the funnel? What are those key call to actions that are going to get people to raise their hand and know this is the company that I want to work with? And putting together that strategy and that plan is really key. But even more importantly is how are you going to get people's eyeballs on this information once you have it created? So how are you going to distribute this? It's definitely a balance for me, I believe, in inbound and in outbound. You want to make sure that all the content that you developed has the right keywords that you're trying to rank for, and that it's enhanced with videos and graphics and really provides an exceptional user experience, because that is really what is going to help in search rankings. And then you also understand what are the channels that you want to distribute this content so that your specific target audience is seeing this information. Perhaps it's a local HR group that you want to get in front of, and so you're working with them to do presentations or send out white papers to their user base. Perhaps it's an industry segment that you're going after, where you're going to their trade show or becoming part of their association and sending out your information in that way. So I think understanding who that niche is, and who your people are now, where are they, and how do you distribute information to get in front of them? And then I touched on moving the prospect down funnel a little earlier. I'm not going to say too much more on that, but I will say measuring effectiveness is so key to understand, how many leads are you generating? What's your conversion rate on those leads that you're capturing to opportunity, and what's happening to those opportunities? You want to make sure you're measuring that so you can double down on places where it's you're gaining a lot of ROI and you're finding a lot of success. You might want to cut the things that you're doing that is just not working for you. Marketing is ever evolving, and our strategies are ever evolving. So constantly looking at what's working now and what's not working is important, because something that might have worked now or might have worked 10 years ago might not work now. It just all depends, because things are changing so rapidly.
10 years ago, try 90 days. I feel like I feel like this cycle is fast, but it just struck me, and the first talking point we had on our slides was don't start with a tool. I know that probably what Sabrina just covered for many of you marketers feels like marketing 101, but I can't tell you how many times I get on the phone with someone looking to explore marketing solutions or integrating a solution with their existing Dynamics instance, and they talk to me all about tools and technology. And really, it's all about getting your plan up front. So I like to go through a process of understanding the people, to Sabrina's point, both from a marketing perspective, who are you trying to attract and how are you going to reach them? Um, and then how are you going to measure your effectiveness? But also the internal customers. Who on your marketing team is doing this work? Who does marketing directly impact? How are these work streams going to be integrated into the rest of your organization? When she started bringing up that three-legged stool, I also like to think of finance, right? Because somebody has to manage the IT budget as also being like another leg in that stool. So maybe we have a four-legged stool now. Just use your imagination. I just think that when we go people and then process and we look at how we're interacting, it really lends itself to the right tools for your organization, and it'll help you evaluate tools in the overall architecture of kind of your technology landscape. So I love this, right? Start with the people in your team, start with what your business problem is and what you're looking to achieve. Have those really solid in your marketing plan, and then start investigating what tools are going to help you solve those problems.
100%. So speaking of tools, Britt, tell us more about how Customer Insights Journeys works for, marketing and trying to achieve and distribute and reach all the goals that we're all trying to get to.
Okay, so let me just start off by saying I don't know. I don't necessarily love the name change from Dynamics Marketing to Customer Insights Journeys, although I get it, right? Because you get more insights into your customers and it's about the journey that you're taking them on. For me, it's just a lot of words. But what I do like about it is that the product has come a long way. So let's just say 3 years ago, you were looking at Dynamics Marketing and it was just not competitive in the market. This is no longer the case. I would say this tool is definitely up to snuff and very competitive with all the enterprise tools. And the number one benefit is that it seamlessly stacks on top of, I don't even want to use the word integrate because that's not the right word. It seamlessly plugs in like Lego blocks, bricks into everything else in your Microsoft ecosystem. Obviously, Dynamics customer experience, so sales, customer service, field service, project operations, finance and supply chain, or business central, and as well as the rest of the productivity suite. So think collaborating in Teams, SharePoint, Outlook, Word, PowerPoint, etc. as well. So what I do love about it is that if your team is used to using anything Microsoft, a screen like this might be boring in a good way, right? You natively kind of understand what the navigation looks like. It's pretty easy to figure it out. And I find that users don't have a hard time adopting this at all. And then, as someone who has dabbled a little in building email campaigns and using other tools or having previously integrated with things like MailChimp, etc., I love a good WYSIWYG editor. What you see is what you get, for those of you who don't know that acronym. And the Customer Insights Journeys has this functionality built right in. The product is rich with lots of templates. So this is just an example of building. First of all, Sabrina, we're in the wrong line of work. This sounds like a much more fun email than we get to craft.
It would be a whole different ballgame, but I'd be down for it.
Right. But I like it because the product is filled with all of these rich tools already. So whether you have a graphic designer on staff or not, or you need just some help with kind of tweaking your messaging, AI isn't going to replace any of us anytime soon, in my opinion, but it will make the people that we have on our team work that much more efficiently. And I like to think most people are a better editor than they are a writer. And all of that is built right into customer insights journey. So you can see it's easy to lay out these emails. It's easy to make dynamic content inserts and changes. You'll see on this screen too, as an example, and this is a real example of, well, customer insights journeys, which says marketing up here, where I'm seeing the embedded Teams chat. So maybe I'm working on the content of an upcoming email campaign, and I want to just ping in the rest of my team who's helping me with this winter sale. Instead of swiveling my chair and navigating to another application, I can stay right in here and just say, hey, do you approve this banner? This is usually probably something Sabrina would need to approve. And rather than sending yet another email and clogging someone's inbox, Sabrina will get a nice link right to this. She can click it open and just be like, yeah, looks great, and be done. Save yourselves the time, collaborate all in one space without even needing to leave the tool, which I love. I kind of mentioned this earlier, but AI can help suggest messaging for you, and Copilot can help you write these emails or even help you come up with content or visuals too, which is all embedded and included in the app, which is great.
I love that. And the other thing that I get asked all the time, Brett, from the sales team, from the client success team here at Velocio, is what communications have my clients gotten? What communication have my prospects gotten? When you have this system fully integrated, everyone has visibility to really understanding the communication that's going out. And it doesn't have to be complex, right? It's like, if you don't know what's going on, it's easy to say, I don't think they're getting anything, and you can go in this view and it's like, oh, they got all, this is all the emails they got. This is all the engagement that they had. Here's what they clicked on. I mean, that visibility is really, really nice to have.
It makes that cold call that much easier, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Kristen, I saw that you were checking out our winter sale. It looks like you were really interested in the Pinot Noir.
Yeah.
Well, why don't we make a time to call about how we can help your restaurant take advantage of this? Whatever. I mean,
yeah, I love it.
you don't always have to, they don't always have to know how you got the information.
Yes.
All right, I'm just working to click my next slide, but it wouldn't be a live webinar if we didn't run into a small snag. But I want to just talk about how this isn't just about jumping in and out of the system to kind of build your customer journey. You can build it visually right inside the tool. So yes, it's always helpful to storyboard on a whiteboard or leverage different technology that you might have in the office. But having something that your team can collaborate on and look at in real time when you're working in, I'm going to stop sharing and try again. Second. Might really help. So let's just see. I got a really, really good graphic of the, oh, here we go. Oh, it's jumping ahead. Okay. It's really nice to be able to see it together in real time. Hold on one second. Here we go. Testing my tech savviness skills. Let me know. Can you guys see it again now?
Close. There we go. Yep. Now I can see.
Okay, so here's what I was talking about. Here's that customer insights journey in real time. So you can see it's building out what this, in this case, this is for a nonprofit. It's their water fundraiser follow-up journey. So you can see they've got some type of call to action up top here, and there's probably a wait action here, right? Wait a day. There's 200 respondents that went through, and it looks like it was a reminder email, maybe inviting them to an event or asking for a donation. And they did some A/B testing. So yes, A/B testing, native, out of the box. For those of you not familiar with this marketing term, it's maybe where you've got a couple of ideas and you don't know which one is going to be better. You can dynamically start running your content, and then you'll see, it looks like version B was performing better. They can actually cut off version A and push everyone over to version B because version B was getting more traction and more response. You'll see right here, they go through this. They're testing these two different versions. It looks like they have different replies coming out of it. And then you can see an if-then branch. So if they responded in the event channel with a donation by saying yes, send them down this path, the happy path. If they didn't respond or they said no thank you, send them down the sad path. I don't know. That's just an example. And you can see how it's really easy to both visualize this. The system lets you kind of zoom in and zoom out, and then you can track all of the metrics every step of the way. So how many people came in at the top of the funnel? How did it get executed through that original email campaign? What were those responses like? What did that turn into? So you'll see down here, what was the actual donation amount? Did more come from maybe organizations versus individuals? What was our mix? And then you can also do editing of that demographic and sociographic kind of measurements against this as well, based on maybe who you're targeting, and see kind of what your response is. So not only do you get to visually lay out your journey, but you can also see the success of your journey in real time. And these make really, really beautiful dashboards. Okay, I'll keep going because we got a slight delay on that last one. Oh, I think I'll keep going. We'll see. There we go. All right, so ensuring the right message is going to the right prospects. I will let Sabrina take this one away.
Yeah, just like before we were talking about building out those persona decks and understanding, who your target buyer is. Not everyone is the same, and not the same messaging will resonate with every person. When I get ads that show up to me that are like, do you deal with this very specific challenge for a person in your role in marketing? It resonates a lot more to me than something that is very generic. So creating segmentation on your lists is key to success, because then you can understand how to send the right message to the right prospect at the right time. And this all can be done within Dynamics by creating segmentation lists.
Absolutely. And this again shows you kind of that customer insights journeys call out. So organizations who centralize the allocation of their resources to projects inside, the same system will have more success in this area. So just think about, like, where is your data living today? Is your data living inside your ERP? And now you're needing to integrate your ERP with also your sales CRM or maybe your customer service CRM to making sure that their warranty or their SLAs are being met depending on what you sold them. Wouldn't it be nice if marketing had that same information? I mean, ideally, we're trying to bring everybody kind of under the same umbrella here. And what's so helpful is gone are the days where you had to do segments based on lots of integrations or uploads and downloads of Excel spreadsheets, right? If all of the integration is inside the Microsoft ecosystem, inside Dynamics, it's really easy to create that segmentation, personalize your sales marketing, and I would even argue any of your company messaging and branding, and obviously your email content. So from a segmentation perspective, it's super easy to do this. These are just an example of some active segments. Anything that's blue is a clickable link here. So if part of you wanted to click it, I told you it was easy to navigate this tool. It's easy to create new segments. They can be dynamic, meaning as you add more members or more people meet the qualification to be part of that segment, they purchased a certain SKU, or they haven't purchased, or they didn't renew, right? Because they could be negative or positives. And maybe that's how you want to get them back in that marketing funnel. It's really easy, and that's like a dynamic segment would stay active all the time and actively pull new prospects or existing customers in that are in your database. You can also create static lists. So this is a great one for, we have X event coming up, whether it's I'm putting on an event or I'm attending a show and I want to let everybody know, hey, here's our booth. Would you come and stop by? Maybe we want that to just be static because it's going to be a single point in time. You have the capability to do both. The segment creation, like I was talking about, is really powerful, and these native dashboards are easy for everyone to use. You don't need to be some like Power BI wizard or some CRM developer to set this stuff up. This comes like this native out of the box. Here are the recent segments you've created. Here are, in this case, customers with complaints, right? Because marketing is about the entire organization's image, not just serving sales, but also kind of keeping everybody happy. What are the vibes? Vibe check here. Return customers, then you can go check their behavior. What makes them a return customer? Why were we able to cross-sell and upsell? What marketing information are they consuming from us? We can kind of gather all of that information. Get it? 365 or 360 for customer. And the ability to kind of capture all of this and see it. Again, this is native, so these don't require any kind of configuration to get these set up. And then segment management is really easy in the system too. You can see this is all in natural language. I'm not needing to know any kind of C# coding, any BI language to really understand this stuff. And it's really easy to present this to leadership too, right? Maybe you've got a team of data scientists who are partnering with your marketing team on this and helping you really crack open your data. Well, this is pretty easy for someone at an executive level to kind of open up and just look at and see who you're trying to target in these segments as well. And it's a good way for you to check as a team that you're on the same page. Just a couple more here on the segment management. Popular drink customers. Oh, this is a great example of how much control you have over creating these segments. So you'll see like there's a really easy way where you can just say, hey, I want to include contacts with a consent purpose of A, insert whatever you want for that to be. And this is true for this. So in our case, we would say, hey, we're really looking to target, let's see, I'm on the enterprise team. I'm really looking to target organizations with an annual revenue of 250 million or above that maybe have a legacy ERP product like GP or NAV, to share with them the message of what it looks like to go to the cloud and how we could help them with that successfully at Velazio. Exclude people who maybe have one branch of their organization already on the cloud. Exclude people who consumed this previous message, or exclude people who maybe told us not to contact them anymore, right? Those are all little kind of levers that you can pull right inside the system. And then you'll see the system creates those rules for you too. And it's really easy to type these out and to double check them. Just like keep it going. Well, thank you for your patience. I'm sure it'll skip ahead 3 slides now because I clicked it 3 times like Dorothy. Let's go. Okay, I'm gonna do my little trick. I would say too, Sabrina, from your perspective, because you've been doing this for a long time, I just feel like part of the challenge in marketing is being given a directive and then having it change or evolve.
Oh yeah, right.
How do you feel like dynamics marketing and sales helps you kind of stay on top of that?
It really helps you understand where you are in real time. And I think that that's really important too, because when there is direction that, we want to change X, Y, or Z, or, we're thinking about focusing on this offer, you can go back into the system and you can really see like what has worked. Has that offer resonated in the past? Is it something that we can, we should stop talking about now and talk about something else? So having that real-time data is extremely, extremely important. And while you're pulling that up, I'll talk about, what the next couple of slides we're going to focus on anyway, which is exactly that, like lead scoring and qualifying leads, related to the fact that, you have people who are engaging with your content, but how do you know how serious they are related to engaging with you or starting a project or becoming a client? And lead scoring can really help you understand that. So you can set up lead scoring so that you have different points assigned to specific activities within your marketing channels. So perhaps them engaging with a social post is worth a certain amount. Perhaps them downloading an ebook is a certain amount of points, or attending a webinar is a certain amount of points. That lead score, is determined, and then you can have it reach a certain threshold. And when they're at that threshold, you move them further down the lead funnel stage, so that at some point you're going to want, someone on your sales team or inside sales to pick up the phone and give them a call, because you know that they've engaged in a certain way. And so they're typically at that point ready to talk to someone on your team. So you're being more proactive rather than wait for them to reach out directly to you. And same thing with lead qualification. There's entry points to different lead stages, and there's specific exit points for those lead stages as well. So defining when someone enters a specific lead stage, what the criteria is for you, and then defining what gets them out of that to be qualified. And you really work with the sales team to determine, okay, if they reach these specific qualifications, do we both agree that that's qualified to be handed off to you? It's a sales accepted lead. Britt will say, yes, that meets my qualification. The system will automatically do that. And then you can have post-qualification actions that happen automatically.
Perfect.
All right, Glenn,
You wanna
more
keep going
about
on leads?
leads. Yeah, leads are not all created equal. There's smaller companies, or when you're a startup, maybe you're willing to take any opportunity that walks through your door. But as you mature your business and as you mature your strategy, you really understand where you fit and what your value proposition is. And when you do that, it starts to mean that not all leads are created equal. So that's why it's really important to identify who is your ideal customer profile. You'll hear people call this their ICP. Is there a specific industry that you do really, really well in? We're only going to work in this industry. What's the employee count of companies that you're really successful with? What's their revenue? Is location a factor? Now, these don't have to be the components that make up your ICP. It's whatever is key to you and how you go to market. That's how you identify who your ideal customer profile is. And so then when leads come in, like, this person's not a fit. Like, they're never going to have the budget to buy from me, or it's in an industry we don't know anything about. You don't have to waste your time, nurturing those or trying to have a salesperson call them. It's not a fit. So you can walk away before you invest any time or effort into it.
Absolutely. And I would say you're going to pay to enrich the data for your sales team anyway, or enrich this data for your marketing team. It might as well be shared. From the economies of scale, you're just leveraging that same investment to support more of the team. We do this internally with strategic partnerships with things like Zoom Info, right, to help us build these ICPs. And then all that information lives right inside Dynamics, and it supports our efforts on the marketing side, right, to bring in new, on the internal side to have us look at who is our customer base and how do we better market to them, or maybe where are pockets where we're missing those cross and upsell opportunities that we can really help them more and provide more value. So I love this piece. Every time I talk, it says you're not allowed. Okay, there we go. There we go. So this is just an example too of how you don't need to leverage third-party tools. For this is leveraging a contact us form submission to create a lead right in marketing, and then it pops up and shows on the sales side. You can leverage existing forms on your website seamlessly and easily. You can create your own forms and customer insights journeys and embed them on your website as well. And then it leverages all the integrated sales functionality out of the box with marketing to take advantage of this feature. So gone are the days of having to spend so much time just sharing the information. It naturally will allow you to pass it. That lead scoring can help you auto qualify should you desire. It can also help your salespeople prioritize which leads based on interest, based on clicks, openings, responses to emails. It starts to kind of bubble up all of that information, almost looking like the prospect is raising their hand for the sales team. I love that, because when I'm logging in and I want to look at my day, I love seeing kind of what the sales accelerator, sales insights has to say. And it will often tell me, oh, someone you haven't talked to in 6 months suddenly is back on your radar. They're reading your blogs. They're hopefully watching today's webinar, that kind of stuff. And then it makes it an opportunity for me to call them and helps me maximize my sales time. Here we go. This is a good one. Visibility into that lead status. So showing you the sales pipeline stages. Here they are on the left. These are just the generic out of the box dashboards, right? And then showing you what that sales activity social dashboard looks like, the my open leads, and then how that can matches right to your sales business process flow. So it's all the same language across the system, across your teams. And I think we've kind of beat this one home just a little bit at this point, but the predictive analytics and all of it is really driven by these AI recommendations. So Microsoft has built Copilot into every aspect of everything they do, especially on the Dynamics customer insights journeys and sales side of things. So being able to see that lead scoring, or I talked about leveraging the sales accelerator and Copilot for sales to really amplify what your sales team is doing and help you. I like to tell customers it's like squeezing the orange, right? You've already made this investment in the dynamic stack and the Microsoft platform. What else can you get out of your investment without paying for another hefty integration, without training your team on yet another tool, and without having to do any manual imports, exports, relying on IT or even more budget necessarily from finance to do some of these things? And Dynamics with the AI really lets you take advantage of that. Well, this is one of my favorite dashboards, but this is marketing feeding sales, what every seller wants to wake up to, right? On the left-hand side, you'll see I'm in the sales accelerator. So if you guys aren't seeing this today, it's probably because you're not leveraging the sales accelerator in your sales environment. So let me know. And you can see I can log in as a seller and all of my work is right there on the left-hand side. It's really easy for me to prioritize my day. I got to follow up with Kenya on, and it's showing me the reminder email. I click on it and you can see on the right-hand side, it's showing me my next steps. It looks like I have a reminder email that's due. And then I'm going to call the customer and then I'm going to send a thank you email. That's what we call a sales sequence. And that was triggered by some sort of lead activity that she had completed. Based on how we want to score that lead, it will bubble up. And maybe the first step isn't an email. Maybe the first step was to just send her more information, but she consumed enough of it that now we've escalated it for sales follow-up, not just marketing's generic follow-up or a BDR, for example, an account executive. You can also see my lead score is right here. So easily accessible as a seller. I know she's a 90 and here's why. These are all the ways she's qualified already before I call her. She's probably way more qualified than Jacqueline down here on the bottom. And that's why she's prioritized at the top and her score is 90 and Jacqueline down there is at 63. So it lays out my whole day. It tells me my easy next step action to take and my ability to send an email right from here, have it automatically tracked. I can see if they opened the email, if they clicked on any links, if I'm doing it right in here. I can click on that phone number. It's going to start a Teams call for me and pop up an opportunity for me to type my notes in. As a seller, I never have to leave, right? I don't have to leave this screen. If you want it, you can turn on Sales Insights as well, and that will automatically record your call. So as a seller, now I've already got my call notes transcribed because it's being recorded and Copilot's going to summarize the call. I can tell Copilot, hey, help me summarize this email really quick, or help me summarize this call and send it back to the prospect, thanking them for their time and setting up the next call. It'll do that in like a 2-click. As a manager, maybe I want to see, wow, Britt's really successful. Her deals are closing fast. She's having great engagement. The sentiment is positive. She's getting, a lot of headway with both highly qualified and unqualified, like not as qualified leads. What's her secret sauce? The AI will analyze that and then spit it back to my manager to say, oh, I'm really good about asking questions. I talk this percentage of time versus this percentage of time. And then my manager can leverage that information to maybe coach other sellers. Or maybe I need the coaching and then they can log in and see, oh, hey, Britt, you talked a lot and you didn't listen as much. Maybe leverage them the way they're built on your face, like any good seller. So just some of my favorite things that come from having everything kind of in one space. And then from Sabrina's perspective, what every marketer wants is that feedback back to marketing, right? Like marketing is so good at pumping, ideally, but ours is really good at pumping everything to the sales team. But then they're kind of just left there shrugging, like, what now? What happened with all of my good stuff?
100%. That feedback loop is so critical, and being able to go into the system and understand. I'll go into the system all the time because I'm like, I know this really good opportunity came in. We passed it to sales. What happened to it? And I can go and I can read all of the communication back and forth when the next meetings are scheduled for. I do really enjoy that visibility. And speaking of visibility, one of the things that I think is really important is, how can sales and marketing work together so marketing can help enable sales and give them the tools and the resources that they need in order to be successful? And a project management tool can really help provide visibility into campaign activities and actions that are happening. We also use, Teams to share files to make sure that the sales team can make get all the information, like those battle cards we talked about, or product one pagers, or links to different landing pages that might have information that's very relevant to a deal that they're working. So project management tools, I have a couple examples listed across the screen here. Asana, Monday.com, Microsoft Project, and then just a screenshot of how these can be laid out. So your sales team and anybody in your organization has visibility to all the activities that are going on across the marketing organization, and what could really help them close the deal.
100%. So just again, I'm going to go through these next slides. I'm sorry we had some technical difficulties today, but we can share this content with you at the end as well. Bottom line, everything is going to be living in dynamics, so it's really easy to access this information. You create that unified customer profile, giving you the 360-degree view of how marketing is impacting each customer's journey, and then how that is impacting sales success. These are some of the just out-of-the-box dashboards, right? This doesn't require any fancy Power BI configuration. It comes with this. So it's naturally going to tell you, here are the different journeys. Now you can filter by the marketing messages. These are your click-through rates. This is an example of showing you on a specific content. So me, as a seller, I could see this content, and this is how this individual is reacting, and these are how those interactions are broken down. Really helpful to keep that information flowing back and forth with the team. It allows you to take action with your data, kind of like what we've been talking about. So showing you that segments, visibility into more, right? Beyond just what your CRM holds, but now we're showing you some ERP screens. So for example, this one down here on the bottom is with Business Central, showing you the same customer, right? And your ability to leverage the information, like the fact that they have an open balance of $2,500 on their account. I can see that here. And maybe, if somebody's in the red or you have them on collections, maybe you're not actively profiling them for new opportunities and you're not actively reaching out to them potentially. Or maybe you're going to leverage it to use a different side of your business to reach out. The next slide here talks about understanding client satisfaction levels and leveraging the native survey tools, but it's decided not to work again. So I will try and represent. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I mean, that's key, like understanding where your customers are, not just in marketing, not just in sales, but with your ERP. And I think another big example of that is if you are in a fulfillment type business, or are you sending resources on site, being able to see what's going on operationally with their order, with their status of that order, and having that all tie back, I think is really, really important. Because if someone has been waiting for their order and it's on back order and it's delayed 2 months, I want to pull that information from the ERP solution. I want to put that into CRM, and I want to be able to say, okay, I probably shouldn't market to them right now. I should probably give them some sort of, special messaging, or, we're so sorry, your order is delayed. But I wouldn't know that on the marketing side if I don't have connectivity back into all my other systems. And that's really where Microsoft shines.
I totally agree. And I have a personal example of this really quick. So we had to get our furnace replaced recently. And then I kept getting requests to refer them to other people, right? Marketing automated emails that show that we had a service date to get our furnace installed. Now, if they had leveraged Dynamics, which I should probably call them after this, they would have known that when that system showed up, it didn't work. And they had to come back 3 more times. And I'm really frustrated, and they owe me a credit. Instead, if they would have sent me a message that was like, oh my gosh, we're so sorry. Here's a $50 DoorDash gift card to help your family get through this hurdle. We really want to earn your trust, right? Like marketing, what do they say? Like all publicity is good publicity. If the communication is tailored appropriately and matches what your customer is expecting or what they need from you or your prospect, then maybe they would have won a customer for life. So just going to show Sabrina, like targeting that the right way makes a big difference. All right, I'll let you take over.
100%. Well, we already kind of talked through this. I'm just gonna kind of skim through it. But Britt was focusing on this around the surveys that are out of the box here, so you can understand your customer's experience. You can understand if there are any risks to losing that customer before it happens. And that's all is native, completely out of the box in Dynamics. Anything else you want to add on these, Britt?
No, just again, really easy.
And now it's Britt's favorite time of the presentation. She is the only person in the world I know, I think, that gets like this jazzed up about talking about licensing. So she is your licensing gal. So I'll give this one right over to you, Britt.
Okay, I'll try to be quick, but if you need any help with licensing, let me know. I love it. So Customer Insights Journeys is a tenant-based license. That's different from the rest of your Dynamics customer engagement CRM suite of products. Those are all user-based licenses. What I love about this is I've got organizations maybe where they have multiple business units in here, or they've got different brands kind of that fall under that one umbrella company. All you need is one Customer Insights Journey license over your entire tenant. Okay, this is important. Now, there is this $1,700 a month license, but very rarely do I find that people are purchasing Customer Insights Journeys without also having sales or customer service. And when I have people interested in that, I ask them what they're using on the other side. And then 9 times out of 10, all you need is 10 qualifying licenses to move over to that attached license. So that's 10 either customer service or sales user licenses, and then you'll qualify for that base license. You've met that base license threshold, and you can do the attached license. This is good for, you'll see on the bottom, it says 10,000 interacted people. So that's going to be 10,000 contacts. Think of it like email addresses, and 100,000 interactions in a month. There are plans that help you go above that as well. So you can always scale up to, like if you have a big blast coming, or when I've worked with nonprofits, they have like a big event, something like that. Otherwise, for a lot of organizations, this is a great place to start, and it's very competitive pricing in the market with all of the other pools. And again, there is no other price. So I know some of our competitors might use something like ToolSoft to integrate their solutions. No integration necessary, right? You already have dynamic sales. You plug in Customer Insights Journeys, it works. That's it. So again, the licensing is inclusive of all of that. Oh, and this just shows you, yeah, in the ecosystem, how all of it is really interconnected, and your ability to work across both the first party apps, being marketing, sales, support, customer service, as well as any third party connectors to additional tools as well to really enrich your data, refine your segmentation, etc. And we can share these slides with the team.
Yeah, we'll send out these slides. You'll have these links. But we want to hear.
We're running out of time. Sorry about that.
We're running out of time, but we want to hear from you. We want to answer your questions. We want to learn about what you're using right now, and help you understand if this is the right move for you based on your strategic marketing plan and where you're trying to go. So you can go ahead and scan this QR code. That is a direct line to myself and to Britt, or you can email either of us at any time, and we are happy to answer any questions that you have. Anything else, Britt, or else we can bring Lily back on here to wrap us up?
I don't think so. Thanks so much, Sabrina.
Thank you.
All right, awesome. Thank you so much. That was great. And thank you again for everyone who joined us today. We appreciate your time. Before we head out, I do want to remind you to keep an eye on your inbox for a follow-up email. That was a lot of information, and we have some links in this QR code. So in this email, you will have a link to the recording as well as a link to the slides. All right, with that, we're going to sign off. Have a great day.
Thanks.
Thanks, team. Talk to you later.